Well, so I'm here, and I need to be focused. This ritual of vocalization of my thought thus begins. So I'm kind of thinking what all things I need to do, and I just there are lots of thoughts, many thoughts I don't speak. I thoughts I filter out, but we can talk in so many different tangents. And then, of course, there's tangent of what you want to do. I should probably just sleep right now. But I don't want to sleep. It's like death to me. Sleep is death to me. But I think if I do sleep, it will solve all my problems. Is that so? It's the act of sleeping is so pessimistic. I don't look forward to the next day. That is the issue. I don't care about being my best self because it does not matter tomorrow. Because time does not matter. Because time does not matter for me. Because I am endless. This torment is endless. My head singing, my ears ringing. But I feel you actually cannot capture enough information by just looking at someone's video. Someone is speaking, and I kind of don't like these folds on my skin in my neck. It's as if the fat is hanging off, or I'm getting old, or something. Don't like it. See, my body is saying to sleep, and I just want to eat more and more, gobble up everything. It will be nice to have a viewer, someone else I can talk to. You see, it having a random person is not enough because I do have options of the kind of people I can talk to, but I don't want to talk to them. Who do I want to talk to? I am sick. I am in this niche. Although I am unique, but I am alone, and there is no one I can compliment myself with. Question is, let's see, let's think through the idea I am thinking. Basically, you, I mean, there are multiple levels of thinking. One is, of course, there is an app. You see the product. There is an app. You use it. all you see, all the ways you interact with it, what you hear, what you see, all that is generated by AI. And all your and AI knows you well, knows what you want, it knows what it can offer. And on the back end, it is at its core, it's a matching engine which matches the information, which transmits the information intelligently, because you cannot look through all the information in this entire world in a scalable way. It would be an square thing, right? You want it to be scalable, it has to be linear, though not necessarily. Maybe the n square dynamic plays out in the funding as well, I guess. That how much funds you have, because there's this benefits of there's this network effect which increases the value more the more people you have. But at its core, it's a matching engine, right? That there is all this information. You have some information, and what it brings is something you are seeking for. I feel this has to be thought through more. At a very, very fundamental level, you have some information, and there is a lot of information out there, right? But this does not fully explain the problem. Then means I'm trying to characterize the emotional needs of wanting and the ability to give in terms of information. I I think what means I'm kind of thinking the optimization function of that system, this entire system. What is it optimizing for? And so, how do you measure that it's performing well? One way is that you measure the engagement, right? It's viral. It's I think that's one way, and it's I think it's the only way that it survives. It kind of reminds me of this swarm, the concept of swarm mentioned in this Pantheon TV series, that it is something which just replicates. It's like a virus, right? And virus needs a host, but virus needs a host, and host needs a virus just to perform well. It's a symbiotic relationship, right? So I think the optimization function is the survival, that as many hosts, as many users you can have, and as much time you can get to spend on itself. But that's pretty grim, right? It's dystopian, it's very pessimistic, it's negative, and it's not inspiring. One way to put at it, which might be not as elegant as clean would be that we are matching the user's desires with others who can offer them. We are a exchange, desire exchange, right? Everyone has something and they want something. We are a marketplace and we are the exchange where this exchange happens, and not necessarily has to be one on one. Kind of thinking the API, kind of thinking the incentive mechanism that maybe you can put out some money to find more people who are matching that specific, who can satisfy your specific desire. And it may sound a bit sexual in nature, but I mean desire in all encompassing way, that let's say you want to hire someone, you desire a specific kind of skill set, and you can search for someone nearby, but if you put some more money, then you can expand your search. And I think money is a useful intermediate to for this all these transactions. So you put in information, and but how do you? So how does this work? So you say that my you say that this information is very expensive to obtain. Let's say I have some kind of information. For example, I know that sun, Earth revolves around sun. I have this information, but it will be priced very low. If I price it very high, then it will be more out of reach from the others. If I price it very low, then it will be within the reach of others more easily. Okay, but that's not a representative example. I think this information has to match the query criteria. If some query is very generic, like does Earth revolve around sun, then maybe it will match, and no one will ask a question like that. But it will the query will have some weight attached to it, right? That how much money you want to spend for this query, and accordingly you will accordingly the AI will evaluate that which answers, which matching answers are expensive, which are cheap. Based on the budget of the query, they will filter out the answers and derive something for the question. So here data has a value. You set the value in the marketplace, or you can ask the AI to optimize that for you. That is going to be the, I think, the main product. But of course, you will have this freedom to have this custom pricing, and yeah, interesting. I mean, there are computational costs. I'm kind of thinking of the scenarios that I ask a question, I put a very high budget on it. Does that mean that I also go through low budget answers as well? Or mean what is the right thing to do here? That should we consider the low budget answers if my question is high budget? If someone is posting a low budget answer means they think that this is something majority are gonna value, right? This I don't think I need to be constrained by algorithms and what is possible in with computers today. I think I need to think of an ideal case, right? So on a very high level, ideal case is that I'm here and I ask a question. I ask to find some information for me, and I can set that how much effort I want to be put into finding that answer. Right? Do I need to consider how much important it is to me? But I think that is already modeled into the price I'm going to pay for that question. But then the question is that do we need to model this as a question answer thing, or I think it has to be modeled as a marketplace thing that I order, I request, or let's say I order a piece of information. I place a buy order for some specific item. It would have some criteria. And I say that I am willing to buy it for this amount, right? I need to think of a just the ideal case that I'm saying that I want this to be very accurate. Some answer I want it to be accurate. It's possible. Let's think of a real life scenario. Right? Let's say I want to know that what's uh, what's happening right now in a specific spot, in a specific geo coordinate in Pluto, right? It will require lots of effort, and of course there will be some answers which will say that it's this or that is happening, right? They can sell their answer at various prices. Mm. But and I think the it will be set in the criteria of the question that how do I find it, right? And so it will be, for example, I put this buy order out that I want this information. There will be people who will say, okay, this is happening. Of course, I cannot go and verify it myself, right? Some people will actually go there and check and then tell me that this is what is happening. And they will probably sell their information at high price. But then we cannot distinguish between how do you really distinguish? What are we distinguishing that this person really went to Pluto to check what's happening and then he is selling the answer, or this person just pulled it out of thin air and then he's telling me an answer, just pretending that he actually went there? What the fuck? How do we solve this? If a person did not go there, hmm, kind of thinking how this matching will work. I mean, they see this is how it's gonna work. We will begin by asking question, right, to both of them. We'll ask where you were at that time, how did it all go. Both will answer, right? It's a real life scenario. Two people are saying that they went to planet Pluto and they got this information that what's happening at a specific place. Then we will verify it by starting to ask question. And if the answer is not there, then it will be ranked low. If the answer is there, it will be ranked high. But I'm trying to think what's the role of money here. Hmm. I think money is just the computation, right? That to get to this verification and getting this high confidence, there will be some computational cost of the system that has to be recovered. That will be recovered from the whoever is getting new information, right, into their in their proximity, right? So there's this idea of proximity, right? That you have this information, and there's this idea of proximity. How proximal is the information, and of course this has to be recovered fully, the computational cost from the. And so whenever you get new information, you recover the cost of computation. And whenever some information is used to derive this new information, kind of pay back that cost to that proximity. So it you incentivize having useful information in your proximity, because then you are going to get returns from it. So it is incentivizing this. What it is incentivizing? So you have these personal graphs of knowledge which are ranked, the information is ranked. These graphs eventually connect as well with other graphs. There's this single graph, right? It's a, it's a directed acyclic, preferably graph where some of the nodes represent the starting point of people. Then around them are the nodes which are close to them. As we go further, they are even far. And you can choose certain kind of information you can keep close to yourself so that the payout is high, right? And just being, I think, in the so whenever some information is used, payout kind of is spread out into the nearby nodes. And it is there. I really want to sleep. Oh God, I wish there was a way to close the switch just right from where I'm sitting. But this is all very graph centric. What is the role of LLM here? Hmm? How do you use LLM here? I think there is this structure of how information is organized. Then there is LLM, which works to add and remove the information from this structure. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's how it's gonna work. You have this graph of information, qualia basically. And then LLM is the one which kind of walks this graph. It acts kind of a interface, this agent which manipulates the graph and presents the information to the user. I think that's how it's gonna be. Kind of imagining the scenarios. So let's say a person is using this app and they are kind of they they are in net negative. Means to use the app, they have to on the net pay certain amount of money, right? How if let's say the person wants to change their situation, what they will do is they will ask the app itself that how can they get out of it, and probably they will lose even more money, slightly more, for this kind of query, and they will get some answer, right? They will get some answer. think it's important to have this focused search uh, paths, because you cannot just iterate through every other thing. You need to have some kind of prioritization, right? And how much compute you want to spend searching something. You can probably put it in auto optimization mode or whatever. But compute is the cost. So, coming back to this example, right? So, this person will ask the app itself that what can they do to be a net positive. They'll lose some money, they will be slightly more negative, but then they will get this suggestion that maybe they are good at, let's say, dancing, and if they tell the graph about dancing, then they will be net positive. I think it's interesting. It will incentivize people to keep creating content for the graph, right? Just so they can use it. They are not a passive consumer. Hmm. I do see this as a evolution of internet, because you no longer interact with other person one on one. You are interacting with this huge, what can I say, this system, this swarm, whatever. That's what it is. Mm. I think that's the future. If I do want to bet on that future, what can I do? Where can I invest? AI, I mean, depends which company brings that future. Could be Google, it could be Meta, it could be Tesla, and it could be anything. It could be X. But who are going to profit from this? I think the biggest people who are going to profit from this. I mean, you need to have GPUs, I guess, CPUs, hardware, right? And there will be some industries which will go down. Mm. Yeah, but this is something, right? Kind of lost the thread, but I think the Qualia part is central to it, and then rest is the implementation detail, right? This dynamic layout where kind of AI changes the layout based on users' interaction. We no longer hard code the apps like we do it now, because UI is going to be decided by AI. Yeah. Then you have this audio, video, meet people, find for people, a specific kind of people. You can put in money to have even more computation to find people. And you need to make the system good, real good, because otherwise no one is going to spend the money if it's not going to return its worth. But a life partner, it so could be worth a lot. So people might. Wow, I kind of pride myself. having these mind blowing thoughts, but it's very snobby thing to think about, and it's not going to help me, right? This, what can I say? This pride, because it means nothing. I haven't done anything. Just thinking, and I'm not optimizing. I'm not actually doing the real work. I kind of bail out at the last 90%. What I need to do is simplify it even further. How do we even begin? That's the question. Who can begin with just a chat interface? People just talking, right? And then you match them with what they want and what they can offer. This dynamic layout thing, I don't know how well it can work, right? But this is the avenue we can try. So right now, I think I just need an app which listens, receives text, and kind of sends notification things you want to say, the app wants to say, has all this data, right? And in the background, it kind of stores it somehow. Maybe you can have brute force for starters, and you just take the user's question and iterate through all other users' info just to match and get them job. I mean, you do to bootstrap, you can ask for some money from the person who wants something and offer some money to other person who can provide that, right? This helper guy, I mean, right? But this can work as you act as an intermediate between these two, and you can just act as that person in case you say that you will need this money if you are successful at the end in providing their match, right? But what if person doesn't, after getting all the information, they don't eventually agree that it's a match? Maybe hold back the information and just always act as an intermediary. Always. And by always, I mean always. You never actually, let's say, want a plumber. You never ever actually interact with the plumber directly, right? Except when it comes to your home, and then you say that the plumber was a incompetent plumber. Then you might want a refund. But then you can put it in TNC that, but you cannot verify everything on text, right? I want a plumber. I mean, I can maybe ask the plumber what all has been his experience and whether he will be able to fix it or not. I can send photos, but how can you be an intermediate in this interaction? If the plumber comes home and he doesn't fix, so you paid this much amount to get a faulty plumber. Another person tried finding. Hmm. Well, what can I do? I just want to sleep. But I'm having these ideas, and maybe that's enough for today.